Hey guys, how's it going? And happy Tuesday. I hope all of you are doing good. So, I just spent the day in Lansing, Michigan again today, and I have a few more updates for all of you. So, I thought I'd get on here for a few minutes, do a little live stream, and talk about some things that I found out are going on. And it'll give you guys a chance if you have any questions for me. There's a lot going on literally just this week, and that's why I wanted to go there today. But I am going to be heading south to South Carolina very early Thursday morning. So today will be my only day in Lansing this week. And then I'm going to head to the PSA, the Gathering event. So if any of you are from that area, it's a public event. I'm going to be there. And hopefully I'll see a couple of you guys there as well. It's open to the public. You'll have to go to their site. Just Google it. It's called PSA, the Gathering. And you can find information on how to get tickets to go. It was a good time last year, and I'm definitely going to go and get some content and try to have as much fun as I can this year. So I put out a little post yesterday in my community tab here on YouTube. I'm going to give you guys more information on that, as well as there's going to be some committee hearings literally tomorrow. So I was up there doing some investigative journalism, if you will, trying to find some documents, which I did found what I was looking for there. And in the meantime, Brendan from Great Lakes Gun Rights texted me and said there's going to be committee hearings tomorrow in the House. I'm like, oh, on the Senate bills? And he said, well, on the Senate bills and House bills. So this is from Great Lakes Gun Rights. They're a gun rights group here in Michigan. They've been doing a lot of boots on the ground work. I've seen them there many times. In fact, I was going to be seeing Brendan there today. He had a change of plans, but he's going to be there tomorrow and maybe the other days this week. I'm not sure. So it says Democrats are back at it Wednesday morning with a full slate of hearings on their gun control bills. Let me tell you guys something real quick before I get into this too much. Republicans, they hold the majority for 40 years. Did they repeal all the gun control laws in Michigan? No, of course not. They just made it where it was less worse and stuff. And we see that on the federal level. And yeah, it's a problem. You end up wearing this two-party system. Basically, you can only vote for Republican or Democrat. You can vote however you want. I encourage you to. But when you vote third party, you're basically taking a vote away from one of the two candidates that actually have a chance. So in this two-party system we're looking at, the Democrats have decided to make it a completely partisan issue, meaning so far, and I promise you guys, I'm still trying to see if there's anybody that's, well, it'd be nice to find a pro-Second Amendment, pro-gun Democrat. Can't find one of those. I was talking to some House members today. I'm like, is there even like a Democrat that's not like so anti-gun? Not that that would be okay with me. Just, is there anyone that's even like maybe somewhat moderate on anything? And just kind of people shaking their heads saying, no, not really. Not that I know of. Let me know if you find them. So I'm still searching for a Democrat that is not completely in favor of voting for every anti-gun bill there is. That's frustrating. So when we're talking about Democrats and Republicans, this isn't me saying the Republicans are perfect, that they're the savior. I'm not saying that at all. It's just as of right now, we've had technically the Senate voted on 11 bills, but it was 3 subjects pertaining to gun control. The House has voted on 3 bills, but it was 1 subject. That was the House Bill 4138, the 2 accompanying bills with the universal background checks. The Senate has passed, and if you guys have been following the channel, you already know this, so I'm going to try to just bring you guys up to speed briefly, because there's always somebody new, and I like to get you guys in on the loop. The Senate last week voted on 11 bills, 3 packages, which are the red flag laws, the universal background check, licensing, registration scheme, and what they call safe storage, telling you how you have to store your guns. Okay. In the Senate, all of the votes were on party lines, with every single Democrat voting yes, every single Republican voting no. Now in the House, when they voted on the 3 bills, 1 subject matter, background checks, it was every single Republican voting no, every Democrat voting yes. So right now, when we say Democrats versus Republicans, that's just a short way of saying that's how they voted. Will a Democrat come over with the Republicans? We'll just say, for lack of a better word. Maybe, but probably not. Will a Republican come over with the Democrats and vote for one of these gun control bills? I hope not, but it's possible. And if I were to guess, this is just me guessing, knowing how this stuff tends to work, I bet you there is a better chance that a Republican will, on one of these bills, find compromise and come over with the Democrats than it would be the other way around. And I'm sure you guys are like, well, duh. I mean, that's how it usually goes. Look on the federal level with the so-called Safer Communities Act, where all the Republicans came over for the Democrats. Now we have all these executive actions from Biden that were based on that bill. And that's because Republicans, again, were pro-gun control with the Democrats on the United States level. I have a lot of Republican reps in Lansing I've been talking to assuring me they're never going to vote on gun control no matter what. But I don't have time to talk to all of them. There are 110 members in the Michigan House alone and 38 in the Senate. But I was able to talk to quite a few today, and they're saying we just need to hold the line. Some are saying we need to hold the Second Amendment line. Some are saying we need to hold the party line. I'm not so worried about their parties, but whatever. If they're going to try to stop gun control because of their party, I'll take it if it stops it, just because it's stopping it. But at the same time, we have a two-party system in this whole country, quite frankly. And I just saw out of the corner of my eye, Anne Marie said, I'm new and I appreciate it. Okay, cool. And Elliot Scott, I appreciate the encouragement. Thank you. So here's where we're at right now. The three major subjects, universal background checks, licensing, registration, red flag bill, safe storage, has passed the Senate. It did not pass with immediate effect. Now the House has to take up those Senate bills, okay, and would have to concur and pass them. There's also, it's several bills. See, this is where they make it complicated. It'll be one subject matter, but they'll do like three bills. So House Bill 4138, universal background checks. It was actually three bills. So I'll just name them by their main subjects, guys, because there's technically dozens of bills, if that makes any sense. So right now the House has yet to vote on the House bills for red flag laws. That's House Bills 4145 through 4148, and they've yet to vote on the mandatory storage, which are House Bills 4139 and 4144. So those they're going to have committee hearings on tomorrow morning. They're going to have committee hearings on a whole bunch of things. They're also going to hold hearings on the full Senate package of gun control. That's those main three subjects. And that would be Senate bills 76 through 86. So 11 bills there. And I've been to these committees. And it is what it is. But it's very frustrating. John Lott was there, for example, last week, testifying in front of the Senate, or the House, the House. And it was like, yeah, whatever, get on with it, get out of here. And in my opinion, let me just adjust my camera real quick, guys. It kind of moved on me a minute ago. This is like the foremost expert on crime statistics, like in the world. And they just kind of booed him out of there and said, move on along. We don't even want to hear from you. So when they have committees, they're very, very rushed. The committees are also, in my opinion, disproportionately biased, meaning this. In the House, the Democrats have a 2-seat majority. In the Senate, they have a 2-seat majority. So you would think to yourself, if there were 9 people on a committee, it would be 5 Democrats and 4 Republicans. No, it'll be like 6 Democrats and 3 Republicans. Or it could even be a worse ratio than that. So they have the ability just to rush it through committee. Now, one of two things is going to happen here, keep in mind. They're going on spring break soon, okay? So they're either going to have these hearings starting tomorrow, maybe deliberate a little bit on it, meaning debate back and forth, which that's what you're supposed to do. when you're in the legislature. It's supposed to be a deliberative body where one side is going to win, but both sides are supposed to have their argument. And that's supposed to be publicly held hearings so the public can know what's being argued. And you're supposed to, in theory, be able to argue to try to change the other legislators' minds. But we don't really see that too much, actually. And I put some little clips just recently with the two state reps, Jamie Thompson and Jamie Green, that I did the video with, showing both of them on the floor of the House of Representatives trying to offer amendments, trying to speak on the bill, and they were just gavelled right down. I mean, they wouldn't let Representative Green even finish her brief statement. Thompson, she was up there trying to seek recognition. Did you guys all see that video I posted 2 days ago? They wouldn't even acknowledge her, and then finally they're like, all right, we'll acknowledge you. You can come up now. And then they said, oh, we're already done with amendments. That was a sitting representative representing 90,000 people who had an amendment on the bill. Now, they didn't vote on gun control today, but I was watching the House session. They were voting on stuff with prevailing wage and stuff that the unions were there supporting. And there would be an amendment from a Republican. And they would just say, okay, the clerk will open the board. The amendment has not been adopted. Not even letting anybody vote at all. They're letting them vote on the main bill itself, but they're not even holding any type of vote, in my opinion. I think I'm going to need to edit together some of these clips for you guys. And I'll probably have to do that when I get back in town. I've already showed some of the stuff, what's going on the House floor. But if you just watch the manner in which they vote, now technically under semantics, pedantics, they're doing a vote, all rise, it's not adopted. I mean, it's really, really goofy. But just in any common sense, layman's terms, they're not even voting to put amendments out there. Immediate effect is supposed to have a 2/3 majority, according to the Michigan Constitution. They're not doing that either. So if they get in the right mood, they could literally rush all of this stuff through committee, like in a day or two at the most, and then have it right before the floor of the House for a rush vote and try to get this stuff in before they go on their 2-week spring break. Now, in my opinion, there's one of two things going on right now. And this is just blatantly obvious. Go there with me sometime, guys. You'll see what I mean. And going to the Capitol lawn's great. And I am aware there's going to be a rally or whatever in a couple days. I'll talk about that in a minute. And that's great for different reasons, but I'm not talking the fun stuff. I'm talking like go in the trenches and literally sit there and watch this crap. And then talk to the legislators when they come out. You guys would see what I mean. It's very, very just like, okay, here's what the Democrats are doing, in my opinion. One of the two things. They're either A, just trying to shove so much stuff down our throat, radical stuff, gun control, which is what this channel is about, but just everything else too. If you just watch like any generic bill on anything, just the way they do it, they just cram it through like nothing. They're either A, just trying to just make Michigan a communist state, or like make it so communist it would be its own country, because a lot of these bills, like this red flag bill, is worse than like you've got like California, you've got New York. This is worse, a lot of these bills, than some of those states. I'm not even joking. Our red flag bill would be the most radical in the whole entire country. And I'm pretty darn sure, I just found this out today, Michigan wouldn't even be eligible for the $7.9 million of federal money that Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, bribing states to do red flag laws. Ours is so severe, I don't even think it will qualify for that. More on that later once I find out for sure. But like, that's how radical these are. We have some radically left states in this country. And these gun control bills in Michigan, just the way they're worded, the complete lack of due process with the red flag bills, they're actually more radical than, and God bless all you guys watching that live in California, New York. I'm not ripping on you as people. I'm just talking your legislators and your laws are pretty radically left, communist. They're trying to make Michigan left of that. So these guys are literally trying to make Michigan so communist, and they just don't even care if they ever get elected again, in my opinion, or they're going to try to run Michigan so far to the left that they'll make it where they can never, ever, ever lose again. I hate to say I hope it's option A or B because I don't hope it's either. But they're literally going in there right now like they don't even care. We're talking like the boldest representative that went off, and I literally did a video on that too, right? Where I said based 2A rep versus afraid rep, and I was quoting her. That's the representative that won as a Democrat by the narrowest margin in the whole state of Michigan, won by 600 and something votes. In my opinion, she's the most radically left one of all of them. It appears to me that none of these Democrats that are in right now, because again, they voted on party lines so far. So that's why I keep reiterating that. They're either wanting to literally ruin this state and not even care what happens next, or they're going to ruin this state so hard that they know they'll never lose an election again. Because this stuff is radical. I'm talking like I know a lot of people. And I don't know why in a way, but yet I get it why in another way. I'm not trying to argue with anybody about this tonight, but we have a lot of people in Michigan, right? Because the automotive industry was started in Michigan, and there's still a lot of it here. There's a lot of union workers in Michigan. And a lot of union workers will say, well, my AR-15 from my cold dead hands, but I still have to vote Democrat for my job security and because my union tells me to. That may be somebody watching right now. It may not be. But I know a lot of people in real life like that. So I know this is a scenario. Well, these Democrats in power in Lansing right now are literally just running gun control through just roughshod, getting rid of all decorum of the House, setting aside rules. See, there's a rule that they have to have a committee before a bill can be voted on. But instead, they'll do a little dog and pony show vote. And they'll say, I'd like to suspend Rule 42 and take up the bill immediately on its passage. The majority floor leader will say that. And then that one that runs the gavel, I don't want to say anything to impugn her personally because it's just not even worth getting into that with these people. They're so far below me, I'm not even going to make fun of them tonight. But she'll get up there, that whatever her name is. I know her name, but whatever. She'll get up there and go, okay, Speaker will open the board. The bill's been read. They took bills from, it had been read once earlier. Here's what will happen, by the way. The clerk will come into the House. It'll be a day that the Democrats, because Speaker Tate, the Democrat, he'll call off session. The clerk will get in there, which the clerk's not, the House members vote on the clerk, but they're not somebody you vote on publicly. They'll just get in there and say, here, I do the first reading of this bill, and they'll read all the bills once. With no members present, lack of a quorum, and then they'll gavel it out. So the Constitution says you have to read a bill 3 times before it can be passed. The first reading, there's not even any legislators in there, okay? Then they'll go to the second reading. They're supposed to have committees, but they'll literally vote to suspend the rules, but it's not even a real vote because they'll say, all in favor, please rise, and then they'll go, and that means, all right, now it's been read twice, and we've gaveled down the rules. We've removed the rules temporarily. And then look, I've literally watched them pass like whole laws within 5 minutes on the House floor. That's my point. So they're going to be holding hearings starting tomorrow in the House on the red flag, gun confiscation, due process confiscation, America confiscation, really. Feels like they're confiscating our whole country to even think of having a red flag bill. That's going to be taken up in the House committee meeting in the mandatory storage, and then all 11 Senate bills, which are basically those 2 same subjects, in addition to the background checks, which have already passed the House. So I'm going to say, look, their intent will probably be to try to just pass these through committee like as soon as possible and get them right to the House floor for a vote. I bet you that's their intention. However, they haven't been in the majority in 40 years. And from what I've noticed, they make a lot of mistakes as far as procedural issues. So maybe they'll mess up on something and delay it for another day because they are going on spring break very soon. But either way, that's what's going on. Here's a list of reps you can contact. And I should have put this into the description, but I will afterwards. Actually, I don't want to put too much phone numbers in the descriptions here on YouTube because their algorithm's weird. I'm going to post this on Locals tonight when I'm done. It's free to join, censorship free. It's another site. And those of you on my Locals know I was in Lansing earlier because I actually posted some pictures and said I'm here doing some investigating. And I did find the document I'm looking for. I'm going to tell you guys what's going on with that in a minute. A new rule coming out of Lansing. So there's a list of different representatives that Great Lakes Gun Rights is saying are vulnerable or they're in very tight districts, right? You've got State Rep Hadsma, Jim Hadsma. I don't know him, House District 44. Nate Shannon, House District 58. Jen Hill, that's the UP. I know there's a couple Upers that watch because you guys were joking around with me, having a little debate about the, North versus South in Michigan here. Jen Hill. See, here's the problem right now, guys. The UP is so beautiful. And you think like, well, geez, of course the UP's pro-gun, right? No. No. I mean, they are. Almost everyone that lives there is. I get it. But as far as representation goes, the Dems are taking over the UP pretty good, too. Jen Hill. She's in the UP, right? House District 109. And Angela Whitwer, not Whitmer, but Whitwer, House District 76. I don't see Jamie Churches on this bill. There's probably no talking any sense into her whatsoever when it comes to ever voting against a gun control bill, but she's the most vulnerable as far as being in the closest vote district for sure. I saw Representative Thompson today. I walked with her, talked to her about things. She needs your support too. Jamie Churches had the closest race in the whole House, and she's rabidly anti-gun. Thompson had the second closest race in the House, and she's pro-gun. Has literally said it out of her own mouth on this channel when I did a live stream with her. She was sitting right here in the shop a week or so ago, a couple weeks ago now. She said, it's a hill I will die on. And that's a way for a politician to say, even if it costs me the election, I will never, ever, ever, ever vote for any gun control. So you have to look at it both ways. The ones that have our back there right now, that are willing to put their political future on the line, need our support. They really, really do. Sometimes just a quick little phone call to say thank you to their office. Telling your friends. That does actually matter because there's people putting themselves on the line both ways. Man, do you guys think about this? I wonder, is there even going to be anything left of this state in 2 years when we have our elections? I don't know. They're just ramming stuff through so quickly. No problem, Bowtie. I'm just here with you guys, Man, instead of us all just sitting at home alone or at work alone, kind of looking at the wall or looking at the phone going, is there any hope left? I think this is about the same stuff every day. I like to come on here from time to time because right now there's 100 of us talking and watching anyways, and maybe we can talk about things. Maybe we can come up with a plan together, right? So committee hearings are starting in the House tomorrow morning, and I'm just not going to be able to make it. I have to, you guys know this, right? I own a small business. I'm self-employed. I have to do some paperwork and get some invoices sent out so I can get some money in to feed my family. My living is not from YouTube, in other words. So I'm leaving early Thursday morning for a trip that I planned literally a year ago, before these elections even happened. So that trip was already set in stone, and I just can't go to Lansing tomorrow. But I've been to enough of these hearings by now. These hearings are, oh my gosh. I mean, I was texting my rep earlier today. I'm like, there goes another dog and pony show vote. I know I asked you guys, I think it was in my Friday stream. Do you guys want me to make a quick little, it won't be quick for me to make. I'll make it a short video, but it'll probably take me 12 hours to make because I have to download all these 5 gigabyte 3 through 8 hour sessions and then go through and watch it and clip the pieces out. But if I can make a 5 to 6, 7 minute compilation just showing you guys Just the way they gavel stuff down and the way they just run stuff through the House. Let me know tonight if you guys think that would be useful. I know on my last stream when I asked, it seemed like most of you said, yeah, do it. It's an eye-opener. I was just sitting there yet again today, and I'm like, but that was a vote just now? All in favor, please rise. The amendment is not adopted. I move for immediate effect. The clerk will open the board. Immediate effects granted. But the Constitution says 2/3 of the reps have to pass immediate effect. The law in Michigan says that there's a procedural move, that if they try to gavel them down, that one person can seek recognition. And if they have 21 people, they can request that the vote be put on the board, which means all the A's and nays will be recorded. Now, you'll literally have it where the main bill itself will have, well, they've been voting on party lines. And here's the other problem we have in Michigan, a big problem right now. And I haven't talked about it much, but I'll bring it up a little bit tonight. The Dems have a 2-seat majority, okay? 56 to 54, but it's really 56 to 53 because there's a Republican who is yet to show up for one vote yet in 2 months. And I don't know when or if he'll ever show up to vote. I just don't know. I can tell you a little bit about it, but I don't know a lot. So if 53 people just voted no on the bill, and then they do immediate effect, of course the 53 people wouldn't want a bill to go into immediate effect that they didn't want to pass, right? And there's literally, the Constitution says that it has to be a 2/3 majority. But they don't do that. They don't even do anything close to that. Literally nothing. It's insane. And I'm seeing somebody say, do it. Okay, yeah. What's up, Princess Kicking Butt? All right. What's up, Scott Williams? Nice to see you, man. I was talking to a friend on the phone earlier, Byron, and he said, I'm not going to be afraid of all this. We can't be afraid. And my friend was saying, I fear the Lord. And I'm not going to fear anyone here on earth because I already know that my Father has a place for me to go. And I'm highly summarizing what he said, but I'm just reading the comment here from Byron. Yeah, a lot of you guys have different places you keep your faith. But, man, it's just like going to an evil place. I'll tell you what, going to that Capitol, it's like an evil place. And there are some good people that are there. There really are. There are some people there that are fighting. But man, oh man. I think before anybody runs for office, they should probably go there with some kind of boots on the ground approach and just watch and see what goes on. It's like people are often like, why don't you run for this or run for that? It's like, I watch what goes on there. It's like, who would volunteer and say, yeah, just throw me in the lion's den? Pretty bad. And here's my problem, guys. Even if the Republicans were in control, it would just be less worse. I have a problem with everything that the Democrats are doing right now. And then when the Republicans have control, I end up having a problem with only 3/4 of what they're doing, right? So there you go. You can go in there and be part of 100% of the problem, or you can be there with like 3/4 of the problem. And that's how it ends up being. Now, in all fairness, half of the Michigan House are new. They're freshmen. It's their very first term. They were just sworn in 2 months ago. I get it. But then the Republicans had control of the legislature for 40 years, with some Democrat governors along the way and some Republicans along the way. I remember calling my state rep for 20 years while the Republicans, not just one state rep, but all of my different state reps, for 20 years saying repeal the Michigan pistol registry. They couldn't even do that. In 40 years of Republican control, they couldn't even repeal the pistol registry. Now the Democrats are going to shove, well, as of right now, 20-something gun control bills right down our throat as fast as possible. And this is just the start. You'll hear them tomorrow in these hearings if you go there, or if you watch it on the House TV. It's on their webpage. You'll hear the Democrats even saying, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to solve crime. It's not going to solve the problem. And I'm like, well, hold on a minute. You agree with me. Sweet. They just said it's not going to work. I said it's not going to work. Then let's not pass this. No. It's not going to work, they'll say. And then that's where our agreement departs, right? They say, but we need to pass all of it anyways. We have to do something. They'll literally tell you that, like the public, that right to their face. We know this isn't going to stop any crime, but we just have to do something. Or they'll say it the opposite way. We can no longer do nothing. We just have to pass something. That's what some of them will say. The other ones will come in and also say this will do nothing, but we need to pass this. And it's just the foundation right here. And then we'll really start building all of the true gun control on top. Hey, I did a video just a week or two back saying Speaker Tate, the Speaker of the Michigan House, is open to an assault weapons ban. I'm telling you guys, I can't do any of it here because it violates all the policies of YouTube. That's why I have my locals community. I'm putting deals on magazines up there for a reason. I'm getting the magazines I need for a reason because I see where this is heading right now. I don't know how bad it gets before the Michigan people are going to actually like do something about it. Before people will keep saying, well, I just vote Democrat because my pops did and my grandpa did. No, this ain't your grandpa's Democrat Party anymore. They're literally, I don't know what their limit is. I'm not even joking. There's 32 bills and they're saying, but this isn't anything yet. If you don't believe me, go there and listen to them. They literally say this stuff like in House floor speeches, in committees. They say, well, this is just the prerequisite. Excuse me? These would be the worst red flag laws in the whole country. And that's still like, you ain't seen nothing yet. You guys remember that song? You ain't seen nothing yet. 100 gun control laws, 200, 300, 400. I don't know. I've watched them pass whole laws. Well, not complete law, but a bill like through one of the chambers of the legislature. I've watched them do it in 5 minutes. I moved to suspend Rule 42. I moved that the bill be read a second time. The clerk will call the roll. The ayes have it. It's like, excuse me? Sometimes they get ahead of themselves and start to hit the gavel before they even finish their last word. Like, it's like 2 seconds for 110 people to vote. No way. I watched one of them where it was like negative 1/100th of a second for them to vote. The last syllable still wasn't out yet by the time she had already gavelled the vote as being counted. When the country was founded, Ben Franklin was asked by a woman, well, what have we, a monarchy or a republic? A republic, if you can keep it. And I'm watching them saying, I move that it take immediate effect. All who supports immediate effect, please rise. Immediate effects granted. Excuse me? I thought the king, when we had a monarchy, not we, but when they had a monarchy, the founding fathers, I thought he would at least take 10 seconds to make a declaration. As the King of England, I hereby do declare this is the law. They actually declare it even quicker than that in Lansing. It's actually like faster than a monarchy in so many ways. The main bills they are actually voting on the board. I'm not trying to give you guys exaggerate, but when it comes to the nuances, like the amendments, they're not letting them even vote on Republican amendments at all. Immediate effect in the House. They're not letting them vote on it at all. So they're suspending the rules. And some people say, well, they're not even following Robert's rules. Well, no, they're actually not. And any of you that are used to local government, your local government probably uses what's called Robert's rules. They don't use that, just to let you know. The Michigan House uses Mason's rules. So if you want to look into that, look into it. I'm not into that stuff. I just figured I'd offer that point of clarification. Now they're even going after their own, and I have the document here. So I had found out about this yesterday, but it was through word of mouth, and I'm like, I need to read the document. So I went to Lansing, looked for the document, and it just happened to be sitting on an ashtray right outside the door. So I saw it, and I'm like, oh, look, here's this document. So, somebody must have set it down, threw it away, didn't throw it in the garbage, whatever, but I found this just sitting there. So they've made a new rule order, and this is not going to affect the general public right now, but I'm going to make a prediction, and we can come back to this stream. I'll probably be talking about this in a month or two, saying I told you guys so. They made a rule, and this is from the House of Representatives, Anderson House Office Building. This is the business office procedures and use of state resources. And this is what they just added in. Staff shall respond appropriately to the request of the sergeant at arms when they are performing their duties. Here's the next part. Staff are not to bring guns or other weapons to any property managed by the house or to the Capitol building. That's actually a pretty big move. So here's how this works. Up and until May 17th of 2021, January 11th, 2021, you could open carry or concealed carry a firearm in the Capitol building. Then the Capitol Commission, the State Capitol Commission, made a rule and said no more open carrying within the Capitol building, but you can still open carry outside of the Capitol building. But if you have a CPL, you could still conceal carry. So a lot of the House members' staff, they'll each have 2 staffers and sometimes an intern. They can still conceal carry with a CPL to protect themselves, to protect the representative, okay? Whatever it would be. These are people that they're just jobs. I'm not talking about the legislators themselves right now. I'm talking about their staff. Well, now with this memo that takes immediate effect, they can't carry it all. But here's what's going to be coming soon. And I know this. I just don't know when it's going to be. I would bet a lot of money. I don't have a lot of money, but I would bet more than what I have on this. They're going to be making another rule, if you will, procedure by these people that you can't vote on, this Capitol Commission, and they will be banning all guns from the Capitol and from the grounds and from the office building. I would bet money on it. They'll have metal detectors at the doors, and there will be no guns, even with a CPL. It'll be 100% gun-free zone, which would then make it a criminal empowerment zone because criminals don't follow laws, and it drastically reduces your First Amendment protected rights, several of them. Your right to petition your government for a redress of grievance, okay? It would also affect your ability for freedom of speech, for freedom of the press, for freedom to peaceably assemble. Because you can't have a dueling narrative where, okay, to exercise my First Amendment protected right, I now have to give up my Second Amendment protected right. That's a big problem. That's a huge, huge problem. So it'll put people in the situation where they say, if I want to protect myself while at the Capitol, on the Capitol grounds, anywhere, because I'll bet you guys money. There's no document, okay? I'm not telling you, in my opinion, I guarantee you that they're going to take this rule right now that they've applied to the staff of the House and just do it to everybody, to representatives, to the public. I really, really think that's happening. But for a fact, there is a new rule right now that staff are not to bring guns or other weapons. So from what I understand, they can't bring any type of knife. They couldn't bring a taser, a stun gun, mace, pepper spray, no knife, no baton, whatever, no weapons at all. I don't know if that's concerning to you guys. I know there's probably somebody in the chat right now, and I do get it. I respect it. I get what you guys are saying that are like, well, the government doesn't deserve any protection at all, so I'm glad they banned it. Okay, But I don't agree, because here's why. First of all, as of right this minute, legislators themselves, representatives themselves in the House, can still carry if they have a CPL. They can't open carry, they can only concealed carry. This is their staff. Their staff are not elected people. Their staff are not, yes, they're paid by the taxpayer dollar, but the staff are not politicians, is my point. Second of all, they're still human beings, and you have the right to protect yourself. And I don't think that anyone can be deprived of their right to keep and bear arms anywhere in this country. I mean, that's not what I think. That's literally what the founding fathers wrote. But the fact that they are paid by the taxpayer, and the fact that these are taxpayer-funded grounds, buildings, the fact that we, the people, own these buildings is all the more reason why, in my opinion, there's no way they could possibly ban guns. But that's what they did. This is a rule, and right now it's only affecting staff of the House. But I wanted to tell you guys this because here's the bigger news. It's usually like rules for thee, but not for me. These guys are so radically anti-gun now, they're even imposing gun control on their own people, on themselves. Like, this is bad. This is like mow you down and then shoot themselves in the foot at the same time. Like, this is loony. Like, this is real weird. I'm just sharing stories with you guys. I was with a legislator today, right outside the steps of the Capitol. And they were like, look at all these people here. Why can't we get our people here? I'm like, well, because there is no like group that busses us in and pays us to take the day off work. We're getting punished right now by being the productive members of society. By you guys having jobs and supporting yourselves and your family adequately, you're losing your natural right to keep and bear arms. Can you believe that? Oh, it's actually true. I've been able to take some time off to go because a lot of generous supporters of the channel. And I'm not making a living doing this, but when you guys chip in here and there, and I did see I got a super chat tonight, I definitely want to read that. I put that into me having to eat lunch while I'm there, gas money, parking. And luckily, it's not snowing right now. You know what I mean? Because I'm a landscaper, and it hasn't been snowing as much this winter. But by us being productive members of society, meaning the 2A crowd, we're literally losing our rights because we're doing like what you're supposedly supposed to do. I'll tell you what, if all of us didn't have jobs and had like some organization that could just pick us up on big charter buses, big Greyhound buses, and drop us off at the front door. Look, guys, I'll give you an example. The Michigan State students, they bust them in like crazy. That's when all this got kicked off after the tragedy happened. They had Moms Demand Action. 10 other anti-gun groups had the place filled up a couple times already. They'll have the committee hearings filled up tomorrow, too. They mobilize like that. Now, this is a separate matter. Although unions are highly political, I don't care what anybody says. Doesn't mean you are, but if you're in a union, you're paying money, and part of it's going into the PAC, and they're highly political. I saw the union bosses there, the members there, and they've gone very far left. And I know I just got somebody mad at me. I live in the state with the most unions of anywhere, but I'm just calling a spade a spade. I was watching them come in. They're all wearing the same colors, basically the same outfit. The unions can get like 500 people, 1,000 people at the Capitol like that when they need to. And they were there today, and they were there last week. Last Wednesday, as you guys already know, I'm only saying it just to tell you why I wasn't there, but my grandmother's funeral, my dad's mom, and I wanted to be there with my dad at the funeral, and I'm glad I went there. I needed to do that day, and I know there's stuff you guys need to do every day too, so I'm only telling you that story again to say that I get it. But there is a but, and all of us are guilty. We're all like totally innocent, by the way, but we're guilty too. We're guilty of not just being like just sitting around all day with nothing to do except for get on a Greyhound bus, and I don't know, man. So I was talking to one of the legislators, and they're like, why can't we get this many 2A people to show up? I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, I do know why, but I don't know why. I know that was totally contradictory, but I think you guys know what I'm getting at. It's like my first answer is I have no idea why. But then again, you guys will list me 20 reasons why, and I do get it. I think I might have saw. I'm not sure if I saw him tonight in the chat or not. One of my viewers and friends on here was hanging out last Wednesday, and I don't know. I don't want to exaggerate. There was like 15, maybe 20 people there for the 2A. What's happening, Crazy Heathen? He said, don't forget about the Second Amendment. It just skipped on me. Second Amendment happening, a Second Amendment rally happening in April on the 15th from 1 till 5 at the Barry County Courthouse. Yes, and I appreciate you doing that, man. This is pop culture. I was talking to one of the reps today. I said, where's the Second Amendment caucus at? Why aren't you guys doing press releases? Why aren't you getting it out there? Well, nobody's getting it out there. I'm like, do you want to come on my show next? And I have a small YouTube channel. I'm not happy that I'm virtually one of the only people in the whole world reporting any of this right now. I'm not happy about it at all. But hey, I mean, let me look real quick here. I know we don't keep track of this at all, but with this I am, because I just read in the comments, we need to raise public awareness for this. I know a lot of you guys are sharing these videos, and I appreciate it and hope everyone in Michigan does. 3,500 views, okay. And that was with the two Jamies, with Representative Thompson and Green. I have a part 2 that'll probably come out next week when I get back. Might be able to get that edited in time, but probably next week I'll get that out, early next week. I'm only leaving with driving and everything, it's going to be 4 days, but the event's only 2 days long. Between sleeping and whatnot, it'll be 4 days that I have into it, 3,500 people saw that video. But then again, we're on YouTube too, and they're shadow banning everything. They don't want this to get out. But my Rumble video, I have Rumble. It has like 40 views, so I need to stay on YouTube, because I'm happy for the 40 people that watch the video on Rumble, but I'd rather 3,500 people know. The video before that has about 3,500 views. The BB gun ban has 6,000. Okay. Yeah, I'm not a numbers guy. I'm just literally giving you guys some numbers because I'm reading it in the chat right now saying we need to make people aware. I agree. I definitely agree. Okay, Rod Brimley. This was the one I was going to talk about. It says, come out to our rally this Thursday, the 23rd, in Lansing at Wentworth Park, 3 p.m. to 5:30 p.m., and we'll be going to the Capitol afterwards. Okay, cool. I got something from the GOA. I've tried to have direct communication with the Michigan State Director of the GOA. He's not called me back, but I did text him. But in full disclosure, he never got back to me, so I don't know exactly. I've invited Great Lakes Gun Rights to be on my channel, and Brendan did, and there's a video with me and him on my channel from a couple of weeks ago. I also invited GOA. They either forgot about me or respectfully declined without telling me. It's one of the two. I have no idea which. But there was a thing from GOA that I got sent from a viewer. So yeah, there you go. Is that GOA putting on that rally? See, I'm trying to get in contact with these people, and a lot of people out there don't even have time to let me know what's going on. And I'm like, okay. All right, cool. Thanks for the super chat, Ren. I appreciate it, man. I might have just called you Ron a second ago. I'm sorry. Ren Brimley. Ren Brimley. I'll get it right the third time. Thanks for helping support the channel, man. I appreciate it. Oh boy, what do you guys think? Is Crazy Heathen right? Because everyone else thinks someone else is going to fix it. And when in reality, you need to look in a mirror. What do you guys think about that? I know, JJ, you guys have jobs. I get it. I'm not condemning anybody here. You guys are just giving me candid answers. Please don't think you're mistaken if you guys think I'm giving anyone here a hard time. I'm really not. Just telling you the truth. This is what's going on right now, and it's going really, really fast. Really fast. You can vote your way into communism, but you can't vote your way out of it. And it's like really fast right now. I knew this was all happening. I mean, gosh. Some people would say it was the day the Federal Reserve was put in. That was a big one. Some would say it was Roosevelt's New Deal. That was a big one. Some people would say it was the Civil War. That was a really big one. Things have been turning in this country for a long time. But right now, and I know, I'm not dumb. I know where things are heading. You can just see it. It's obvious. But boy, oh boy, I even underestimated it. And I'd like to think, not woke, that's the opposite, but I like to think I'm awake to what's going on. Like all day long, I'm listening and trying to figure out what's going on with stuff. And man, I thought I had a pretty good beat on stuff. And I did, but it's going like, oh, I don't know, just multitudes. 100 times, 1,000 times faster than I could have ever imagined. It's just like, boom. Especially when you just watch the way they vote, but don't vote on stuff. And how quick that gavel smacks. You know what I'm saying? There's just something about it. I move that it take immediate effect. All members who support, please rise. Immediate effects granted. It's like, whoa. Whoa, this could criminalize millions of people. People are asking me questions already tonight about when can people sue? Well, first of all, who's going to sue? Does anyone know who's going to sue? I don't. The gun rights groups are all right now in the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals dealing with New York that's ignoring like 5 different things with the so-called Bruin case. We've got stuff going on in the 5th Circuit. We've got stuff going on out in California in the 9th Circuit. We've got so much stuff going on. I hope the national gun rights groups have enough money to sue. The law has to go into effect before they can sue, from what I understand, right? So there's your answer to that. There's some stuff that they're trying to get through so fast right now. They could even end the session early to try to get stuff to take effect quicker. I mean, it's to the point now. I just need to do a little compilation. So there's rules that are on the floor, okay? But they'll literally say, I move to suspend the rules. And then they gavel and suspend them so fast, nobody had a chance to vote on suspending the rules. You guys get what I'm saying here? I don't know. Sometimes I think like I'm getting old or whatever, and sometimes some of these younger folk look at me, and I hope there's younger people watching. But if there's anyone that doesn't know this saying, I think you do. Dog and pony show. I use it. If you don't know what a dog and pony show is, ask in the chat, and hopefully somebody will help you with that. But that's just the best way for me to keep calling it. So much of this looks like a dog and pony show, you know? I know I seem kind of sullen tonight, and I'm really just wanting to be real with you guys, though. So don't mistake that I've given up. I'm not giving up at all. Things could be a little bit worse. But then I guess wait till tomorrow, right? Man. I thought that maybe there was enough people calling reps that are in these real tight districts that maybe they just kind of sit there and chill out and digest this stuff over spring break. And they might, but I know they're having the hearings tomorrow. It's been announced there's hearings tomorrow morning. And man, these hearings go fast. They go so fast. I know, man. And here's the thing. What's happening? Rights are not tradition. And this is where it gets tough. And I suppose the left or the other side, I don't know what it even is anymore. I don't even know what to label people anymore. When I say Republicans versus Democrats, though, I'm just being academically correct right now in Lansing. I want you guys to keep remembering that for those of you that joined here just recently tonight. As of right now, Democrats have voted yes on every gun control bill that's come up for vote. Republicans have voted no. So that's why I'm just accurately stating right now it's Republicans versus Democrats so far. Could that change? Absolutely. But when it comes to this, it's like, what do you even call it? Like the other side. This shouldn't be a Democrat versus Republican issue. No. These are certain unalienable rights that are supposed to be defended and protected by all parties. This is supposed to go over the head of any party. Parties aren't even like legally part of the government. You guys know that, right? These parties are like their own separate, like corporation businesses, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, it's like there's the other side and then there's our side. And do you guys even have a name for them? It's like the Americans versus the people that hate America. That's another way I think about it sometimes. But here's the problem. Even people that appear to be on our side, and trust me, guys, I'm very aware of something called an agent provocateur. Someone that'll pretend they're in the gun community just enough where they control and upset from within. I totally get all that, okay? And I am going to read all this chat afterwards, guys. So thanks for helping me brainstorm. I'm like, what do I even call them? It's just like the other side, the other than Americans versus the Americans, right? Whatever. But even people that claim they're within the gun community, I just had somebody kind of, whatever. I don't care, guys. I'm just telling you where our community's at right now. Kind of rubbing it, ribbing me, giving me the old elbow right in the rib cage, saying, haha, I live in Missouri. We're the freest state there is. Sucks to be you because we, and I wanted so bad, but I didn't have time to respond. Didn't want to. We have a sanctuary state. I'm like, yeah, that just got smacked down by a federal court. Not that I wanted it to get smacked down at all. But I'm saying you've got somebody in one state that's bragging, saying, well, I'm holier than thou. I'm better than you because I live in this one particular state. And it's like, well, dude, come on, man. If I wanted to be mean, I could say that just got smacked down. But I'm not happy it got smacked down. Just because he's happy that he has it better than Michigan's going to be soon doesn't mean I'm happy at all if it gets worse for him. I'm not happy that it's bad in California. I'm ecstatic if there's any states left where it's still good. Like, I don't get that way, but a lot of people in our community do. A lot of people do. Yeah, so 2A sanctuary counties have been ruled unconstitutional by a federal court, and I believe that's to do with Missouri, correct? Here's what you do, though. You guys know this, right? Uniparty. Okay. You go to the ballot box. You can vote for a Republican or a Democrat, or you can throw away your vote. Am I wrong? I mean, if somebody has this figured out, please tell me. Look, guys, I'll run for office if there's a way that I can literally go there and say, I run on the United States founding documents. That's my party. And I would literally vote against any bill that didn't literally read what the founding document said. So basically, the only thing I would vote for is the repeal bills. That's all I would do. I'd vote no more often than Ron Paul did. But that party doesn't even exist. And there's a Libertarian Party, which I'll agree with most times on the Second Amendment. I'll probably disagree with them on other issues because there's a lot of liberal tendencies within the Libertarian Party that I don't agree with personally, but they don't even have a chance. Do they? Tell me if I'm wrong, because the way I understand it, now I am conflating things. I'm talking about local politics here and then federal politics. But if you looked at it from your school board and your city hall all the way up to the president of the United States, there's really no way a third party can win. All it can do is come in and upset enough to where it basically chooses the winner that way. That might be a strategy. I'm not saying it's not. It's just, what do? You vote for either less worse or completely and utterly worse. Robert, that's not a bad idea. I'm not actually a community organizer. I don't really, you have to pull permits for this stuff. You have to know people with all the PA systems. You have to have money to file the permits. I have none of that. Just remember that, guys. I'm a landscaper that's here in my shop. I just happen to be reporting on this more than anybody, but I don't have an organization. Like nobody pays dues to me, and that's part of it. But then the other part of it is, I'm just being blatantly honest, I don't even know how to set up an event. But I am trying to communicate things that I know about. See, Crazy Heathen with his event, he told me about it with plenty enough time for me to look at it and what it is. And he's been willing to communicate with me directly with any questions I may have. And I've been promoting his event, and it is on my community page. A lot of these other events, with all due respect, and I do have the most respect for them, I find out from a viewer like, hey, there's a rally tomorrow. And I'm like, I don't even know anything about this. Like, how can I promote something that I don't know about until it's like so late? Like, I'm not just going to get on here and promote the, I don't know, such and such rally only to find out after I promoted it, because I didn't even have time to read about it, because it's happening like an hour after I found out. You guys get what I'm saying? That it's actually like really bad people that are going to be there to like destroy our Second Amendment. Yeah, that's part of it. Urban Alien 247. It just is what it is, right, man? And I'm not trying to fundraise to start a rally. That's not what I'm doing at all. I'm just being very candid with you all. Very candid. I put together super chats. I put together Patreon supporters. Those of you who use my links over on locals, I put it together and I do the best I can with it. But I'm not a dues paying organization. There is no organization. It's just literally me and all of you guys, which I like this better than organizations in many ways. I really do. I think just people talking about stuff and changing culture can be more effective in so many ways than organizations. Yeah. It's not who votes, it's who counts the votes, right? I hear you, man. I get it. Jane Locke does have a huge PA system and can shake the ground. Absolutely, yes. Yes. I have seen Jane's PA system in action. No, I do know some people. I'm not saying I don't know anybody, and I'm grateful for friends like Jane who just chimed in. So don't take me the wrong way. It's just, I don't know. I talk to people about stuff. I don't know if I'm good at it or not, but I'm willing to do that. I'm just not like a seasoned community organizer type. What's happening, Jeremy? How's it going, man? Okay, so there's two rallies going on that I've heard about tonight, right? I did post Crazy Heathens rally on my page here, my community page. I've also posted it on my Facebook. Um, there's one that was mentioned tonight by Ren, right? Yep. I'll post that up there one more time real quick. I got something about it, and somebody from the GOA who hasn't had time to talk to me, his name was at the bottom of it. But again, I don't know enough about it to even say that I endorse it, because I just don't know enough about it. So there you go. The Chinese that sell like these super cheap like scopes and red dots and bags and range bags and stuff on Amazon, like cheap junk, right? I get 20 to 30 emails a day from them. They know how to reach me to try to get me to review their product. I don't. You don't ever see that stuff on this video. I just delete them all. They know how to get a hold of me. The Chinese to peddle cheap range products. A lot of these rallies, I hear about them through the grapevine, but none of them have a way or time to get a hold of me to let me know. So there's a rally. There's the information about it. Considering I have no actual, since I don't technically even know who's putting it on, because I had a mixed, I couldn't tell who was putting it on by reading it. I don't know. I'll just say that. I have a little bit of a reputation on the line to the point where I just am honest with you guys, okay? I want you guys to come on here and believe me when I tell you something. So I don't endorse things unless somebody can give me enough information on it where I actually know what it is. Does that make sense? What's happening, Michelle Duke? How you doing? Yeah, it's so crazy. So some of you are just now joining. Tomorrow morning, they will start. I believe it's going to be in the morning. Here's this document about their banning weapons, any weapon from all of the House staff, okay? Trust me on this. Soon it'll be the whole Capitol grounds for everybody. Just wait and see. And I mentioned this the other day during the stream. Hold on, just let me get back to what I was saying here. They are going to be holding hearings on red flag in the House, mandatory storage, as well as holding hearings on all the Senate bills. Now, if you remember, I said they took up one of the Senate bills with a Senate substitute bill. So the House may want to change the Senate bill, and they may want to make it actually worse before they send it back over to the Senate again, or before they go through like this reconciliation process. So it happened today on something different. Just to give you an example, this was to do with like union stuff. The Senate had passed the bill, the House had passed it, sent theirs over to the Senate. In the meantime, the Senate wanted to make it worse and said, nope, we want to modify it and make it worse. And then they sent it back to the House again. The House was late tonight. They might still be in session right now. I don't know. I just had to finally give up and leave because the Senate had to go look at the new one, send it back over to the House. They had to wait for it. It's called the Rotunda. It's a round building, the Capitol, and you can look down, all the way down to the bottom or all the way up to the big dome and the steeple on top. And if you look right across, you can look right across the Rotunda. The House and Senate are opposite of each other. So big circle in the middle, Senate's over here, House is over here. And when they have the doors open, in theory, you could look right through one chamber to the other. And they will literally send bills across and have to wait. So this stuff can be very dynamic. But as of right now, the 11 Senate bills, 3 subject package did not pass with immediate effect. And I'd like to tell you guys, hey, you need to all fill up the committee hearing room. And it's still a good thing to do, but then they'll let 20 anti-gunners testify and then 2 pro-2A people testify. Because again, that's a dog and pony show too. It's rigged. It's just blatantly rigged. Now, the House has a 2-seat majority on paper, but they really have 3. And my intention is not to throw anybody under the bus, but I'm just going to call a spade a spade. There's a Republican representative, Representative Bruck. Representative Bruck, as far as I know, has not been to Lansing even once. He never votes. Anyone wants to fact check me on that? You can go watch all of the House sessions. You can watch it on camera, or you can go and look at all the recorded votes. He hasn't been to work even once yet. Now, this is all secondhand information, but I believe it to be reliable. It's because he's active duty and he's on a base in Virginia. Now, here's the question I have, and this is just a question I have, because I've heard different things, but I'll just say it this way, a question I have. Why would you run for an office in the state of Michigan when you knew you were going to be active duty out of state would be my first question. But if that wasn't true, okay, and your term of service was up when you ran, why would you sign up again? Now, I don't know if he signed up again or didn't, but it's got to be one way or the other. Either you knew you were active duty when you ran to represent Michigan, and that could put you on a base in Virginia, okay? Then you shouldn't have ran, in my opinion, if that was the case. Or if my term of service is up here, by the time session starts, then why would you still be active duty? Now, this representative, you can go to their page. They'll talk all about it. It's B-R-U-C-K. They're a Republican. And I believe, again, I don't want to start rumors. I'm just asking a question right now. Why? I don't know exactly why. I mean, I was told why. The immediate answer is, well, he's on a base in Virginia. Okay, but why? Why is he on a base in Virginia while simultaneously being a rep? Because either A, you knew you were still going to be active duty, then why'd you run? Or B, if you didn't know that, but then chose to take another enlistment or whatever, or commission or whatever it is, I believe they're an officer. Look, doesn't make any sense to me. So there you go. People have asked me. I'm not saying anything bad about this person. I don't know him. He might be an awesome person. He might not be. I don't know him. It's just strange to me that you would be a Michigan representative. And look, I'm not impugning his service to his country either. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be active duty. That's also not what I'm saying. I just don't understand how you're active duty, but you're a Michigan rep, and you're simultaneously making money in the military, and you're making money in Michigan. I'm not privy to the information. I don't know when there was a re-enlistment or when there wasn't. But either way, it still doesn't square with me. So in theory, it's 56 to 54. Democrats versus Republicans in the House. But really, it's 56 to 53. For now, and for an undisclosed, undetermined amount of time in the future. I've not been able to find out when this rep will be in Michigan. Or when or if this rep will ever be in Michigan again. I have no idea. If somebody else knows this, tell me, because here's the only thing really that's frustrating for me right now. Every time you'll see all these green votes for gun control for the Dems. And then you'll see all these no votes so far for the Republicans. And then in white, it always says B-R-U-C-K. He's never voted on anything yet. Now, here's the chess we're trying to play here. What if you could? And this is where it's like, again, I just think sunlight's the best disinfectant. I'm not impugning this representative personally, not impugning his service. It just doesn't square that he's representing 90,000 people in Michigan, and I've never seen him vote yet. That's what doesn't square. That's all. Nothing more than that. But it's still an issue, because what if enough of you guys and your friends and family called Jen Hill, got her to come over? Maybe. And I'm not saying this would happen. It's just, you guys see where I'm heading with this. What if she did come over and vote, let's just say, with the Republicans? Because right now they're making this a party line issue. I'm not. They are. And what if one was sick that day and couldn't come in? That would mean we could stop it. No, we still couldn't, unless or until Representative Bruck could actually get himself into the chamber to vote. See, this matters when it's this tight. It really does. So that's another little tidbit that I've been waiting. I'm like, how come? But you guys are noticing it too. When I post in these videos and I'm showing you guys the roll call votes, people are asking me, where's Bruck? Where's Bruck? Where's Bruck? And I'm like, I don't know. Where is he? So I've been looking for him in Lansing. Never seen him there yet. He might go there sometimes. I don't know. I've yet to see him. Yet to see him vote. So I asked some people, and they said, well, he's active duty in the military. And I said, okay, great. God bless him. Why is he Michigan's representative? Well, he can't leave. Okay. Then why'd you run? But there might be something I don't know about. Maybe they were going to let him leave. Then they changed their mind. Maybe some of you military people would know more about it than me. I just know we really have a 3-seat minority in the House, not 2. Maybe he'll show up next week and vote on maybe he'll be here next week. I hope so. No proxy vote, no. And that's a good thing. I'm glad there's no proxy vote. I hate proxy votes. I think proxy votes are terrible. And you're just asking whether they have one or not. I'm not saying that you agree with them, but I do not want a proxy vote. Good night, Michelle. You guys are talking about rallies or a lot. How much do you think rallies help, guys? I'm just wondering. Because I have mixed opinions on them. I talked about it in my last stream. I think they can help. I think they can actually hurt. I guess there's three spectrums. They can not do much at all. They can help and they can hurt. It just depends. All right, I'm going to take a look. If you guys have any last minute questions, I will answer those, and then I'm going to jump off here in just a minute because it's getting late and I need to do some paperwork for my business. Let me see here. I thought I saw one earlier. Another question about immediate effect. I think I answered it pretty thoroughly earlier. I don't know how much more I have to add to that. As of right now, the 3 subject matters 11 bill package did not pass the Senate with immediate effect. So as of right now, no. That's where sometimes it's good to encourage people because there's a couple senators that I wasn't sure about, Republican senators. All right. I'm just giving it 1 second here. Okay, yep, you're responding to rallies, I assume. It creates public awareness of the facts. It can, yes. It definitely can. Let me give you guys a real quick scenario, and I'll give you a minute to respond, and then I'm going to jump off here. If there were, obviously something could go haywire, and like a big fight could break out, and then it would change the court of public opinion in our disfavor. Whether it should or shouldn't, that's how the court of public opinion works. But let's assume everything went well, and there was 1,000 people that showed up at the capital of Lansing or Berry County or courthouse, wherever it's at. If there's 1,000 people that showed up, would that be a positive? What if there was 500? What if there was 100? What if there was 20? What if there was 10? What if there was 5? What if there was 2? What if there was 1? Now, I'm not asking you guys 100 questions here. I'm just posing that. Like, how many people do you think need to show up a rally for it to be effective? And is there an amount that would be so low that it would actually be like take you backwards because it makes the support look pathetic? I'm not declaring any of this. I'm just asking because it is something I'm thinking about. No, I got you, Jamie, and I'm not frustrated with you. I'm frustrated by the process, okay? Look, right here. I'll go through this real quick because I have before, but there's always new people coming, and welcome. Look, the right here. Let's see here. Immediate effect. No act shall take effect until the expiration of 90 days from the end of the session at which the measure was enacted. The legislature may give immediate effect to an act by 2/3 vote of the members elected and serving in each house. And this comes from the Constitution, Article 4, Section 27. Now, they're running so roughshod of the Constitution and changing the rules of the House and doing whatever the heck they want. They're not doing this in the Michigan House of Representatives. I promise you they're not. And I think this is just a little more proof. I need to do like a 5-minute compilation video showing you guys how they truly vote on things in the House. They are not doing this in the House. You could have In theory, you could have all of the members oppose immediate effect. Well, if that was the case, they would have already made a deal ahead of time. Let me just back up. All Republicans can oppose immediate effect, and they normally do, and they still pass it instantly. But that's not 2/3 majority. I know. Okay? I know. Very frustrating what goes on. Yes, there's laws. Yes, there's the Constitution. But when you're governing outside the rule of law, then what's it even matter anymore? The Senate's rules are still making them do recorded votes, and that's why the Senate was able to stop immediate effect so far on the 3 subject matter 11 bills that have passed through. So there you go. They can plant bad actors in rallies, absolutely. That's why I said if nothing goes wrong. Not saying that it'd go wrong with a good Second Amendment supporter, but they do plant bad actors sometimes. They do. You've not been able to touch guns on a live streams in YouTube for almost 2 years. Gun reviews, we can still do gun reviews, yes. If it's a standalone video. Okay? If it's a standalone video. Why have you not seen a gun video on this channel in a month and a half? Because, like someone said earlier, how can you work 2 full-time jobs? Well, because I've been doing this almost full-time with not the money, and I actually have to feed my family too. And I'm just trying to cover all this stuff from Michigan, and there's stuff literally happening. They're averaging a gun control bill a day. So if you're talking about people in general, if you're just talking about YouTubers in general, I don't know. If you're talking about me, because I'm fighting for our God-given rights in Michigan right now, to me is more important than gun reviews, and this ain't feeding my family. I don't have time to do all 3. That's an honest answer. Okay, you got it. Can't touch guns in live streams here, but I do on locals. And it is a censorship-free site. Totally different rules over there. And I did a stream on my locals community. Links down in the description. You can join for free or support, guys. And you can actually financially support for free. If you go over there, you'll see what I'm talking about. I did a stream for almost 2 hours long, and I was talking about why I choose the AK, and I had an AK, a couple of them. I was taking it apart, showing you guys the internals, going through how it works. I was doing everything totally live over on locals. So I still do that stuff. I just don't do it here. No problem, Robert. All right, 2 more last questions, and I'm going to jump off. Recall process. I've explained that many times. I'll say it again for everyone that's new. For a representative, they have to have served for 6 months before the recall process can start. There first has to be a petition. Get enough signers of the petition to get them to hold a recall election. All that guarantees, though, is, I mean, you could get somebody else that's more liberal than them, or you could get somebody more conservative than them, right? If it's a senator, it has to be 1 year into their term. So basically 25%, with representatives being elected to serve for 2 years, senators for 4 years in Michigan. So basically 25% of the time. Yep. Cool, Omar. Yeah, it's a censorship-free site. It's tied into Rumble. I also have a Rumble channel. But I've been putting a lot of effort into locals because there's just stuff that I can't do here. Thank you, Ting Ting. Nice seeing you, man. And channel moderator bot was nice enough to pop the locals community up right there. Yeah, some good ideas in the chat. And again, I think it's just all about building culture, guys. And that's what I'm trying to do here. So there's going to be hearings in the House starting tomorrow. Depending what they do, if they can get their act together, could rush it to the floor soon. I will let you guys know when and if I find stuff out in the next couple of days. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out tonight, and I will probably see you guys next in South Carolina. All right, thanks for watching, and have a good one.